Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to talk about something fascinating. This global effort to create the perfect city, environmentally friendly, economically strong, and fair for absolutely everyone. But, as we're about to see, the price of perfect, well, it can be incredibly high.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? It's what urban planners and city leaders are wrestling with as they try to design the metropolises of the future. The challenge isn't just about getting bigger, it's about getting smarter and a whole lot more sustainable. Okay, let's dive into this. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the core problem, this idea of the hungry city. Then we'll look at the planner's toolkit. After that, we'll uncover the unintended consequences, the price of going green, and we'll end on the crucial question that all of this leads to.
All right, so first things first. Why do we even need sustainable cities in the first place? Well, it all comes down to their massive and frankly growing appetite for the planet's resources.
And this concept right here is absolutely key. The ecological footprint. It's basically a measurement of how much of the planet a city needs just to exist. Think of it like a city's shadow, right? It stretches out over all the farms that grow its food, the forests that supply its wood, and the rivers that provide its water.
And make no mistake, the stakes here are incredibly high. This isn't some abstract, far-off idea. I mean, when a city sprawls outward, it literally paves over the very land it needs to survive. And that creates a very real risk of a future where our demand for resources just completely outstrips the supply.
So the bottom line is, cities aren't just growing, they're consuming the very environment they depend on. This kind of unchecked horizontal growth, what we call sprawl, it creates this really nasty, vicious cycle of using up resources and creating pollution that, in the end, impacts everyone's quality of life.
So the big question is, how do we fight back against this? Well, let's get into the solutions. Let's take a look at the powerful set of design tools that urban planners are using to try and reshape our cities for the better.
In this table here, it brilliantly breaks down this idea called smart growth. And you can see it's not just one magic bullet. It's about mixing homes, shops, and parks together so you can live, work, and play all without needing to jump in a car. It's about creating walkable streets and having different kinds of housing to build these vibrant, diverse, and basically self-sufficient communities.
Now, a close cousin to smart growth is something called new urbanism. They're trying to do a lot of the same things, but the key difference here, it's really all about scale. New urbanism zooms way in, focusing on the neighborhood itself, on beautiful architecture and that dense kind of European-style walkability to fight back against that placeless cookie-cutter feel you get in a lot of suburbs. Okay, tool number 3, green belts. And you can really think of these as a hard stop for the city, like a literal line in the sand to protect nature. By creating this legal ring of undeveloped forest or farmland, cities like London can physically stop the sprawl, preserve nature, and give people vital access to green space.
And our final tool? It's pretty straightforward. Just hit the brakes. Slow-growth cities, like Boulder, Colorado, they use their legal powers to limit how many new buildings can even go up. They draw these firm urban growth boundaries and use zoning laws to encourage building up, not out. It's all about preserving the city's character and the nature around it.
Okay, but here's the twist. And it's a big one. All of these fantastic, well-intentioned, environmentally friendly plans, they have a dark side, an unintended consequence that deeply affects the people actually living in these so-called perfect cities. I mean, on the one hand, let's be clear. These policies, they absolutely work. They create greener, more walkable places with less traffic, cleaner air, and a smaller carbon footprint. You can actually measure the ways they improve livability.
But then, the other shoe drops. A fundamental law of economics just kicks in. When you use green belts and growth boundaries to limit where people can build, you are, by definition, restricting the supply of land. And when demand stays high, the price of housing, it goes through the roof.
And this leads to a really critical and frankly painful consequence. It's not segregation by law anymore, it's segregation by price tag. As these beautiful, sustainable neighborhoods become more and more desirable and expensive, lower-income residents, who are often from minority communities, they just get priced out. They get pushed away. So what you end up with is this incredibly powerful tension, right? The very same policies that are designed to build these ideal communities can actually trigger gentrification, create housing shortages, and even cause a loss of local character. The push for environmental perfection risks creating these beautiful green but totally exclusive enclaves just for the wealthy.
In all of this, it brings us to the ultimate and maybe the most difficult question at the very heart of this entire urban sustainability movement.
You see, the real challenge for planners isn't just about the environment. It's more like a three-part puzzle. They have to protect the planet, sure, but they also have to support a thriving economy and ensure there's fairness and opportunity for all citizens, not just the ones who can afford the price of admission.
And that's the balancing act. That's the tightrope that the cities of the future are going to have to walk. And it forces us to ask that really tough question. If our greenest, healthiest, most perfect cities are only accessible to the rich, then who is all this sustainability truly for?